Hello Nidorinas and Nidorinos, it is KingNido here, and today we're coming to you from Olivine City, where the Steel type carbons are hosting the normal type Goldenrod Aces. Both these sides are coming off losses, whereas the Steel types are still in a Leaders 8 position. The normal types are trying to get their season on track as they have lost 4 games so far, but let us know in the comments below who you think is going to win this matchup, and we'll send it down to that field now. Now, as I said, the Goldenrod Aces have lost 4 games so far this season, but they're starting out with Weird and Pyro in its male form. It'll be Tinkertongue and Iron Treads starting out for the Olivine Carbons, as Weird with that Intimidate ability is immediately going to lower the attack stat of both Tinkertongue and Iron Treads. Pyro with the speed advantage goes for the assurance onto Iron Treads, gets an okay hit there, but Iron Treads responds with the Bubble Beam, going for Weird instead of capitalizing on Pyro's part fire typing, as a Solar Beam is being set up by Tinkertongue. It is going to absorb the light on this turn. Weird going for the Ancient Power here. Looks like it's going to target Tinkertongue with that move, but unfortunately it is not very effective on the Steel type Pokemon. Psychic Fangs, however, from Pyro, also not very effective, doing very little damage. And Iron Treads with the Hyper Voice hitting both Weird and Pyro, getting that critical hit on Weird, as well as Tinkertongue with the Solar Beam onto Pyro is not very effective, so it's not going to do much damage, as the Hypnosis from Weird is going to put Iron Treads to sleep, which is fantastic. Have it sleeping over in that corner, and they can try and focus in on Tinkertongue here, as Iron Treads is fast asleep on the field, snoozing away. Pyro needs to capitalize on its part fire typing. This is very smart for the normal types to start out with Pyro, see if it uses that fire typing and actually goes for something like a flamethrower or a fire blast. But first, an Earthquake from Tinkertongue hits everybody on the field. It's super effective on Iron Treads, it's also super effective on Pyro, and it gets the critical hit onto Weird, who is an easy target now, and responds with the Thunderfang, also getting the critical hit onto Tinkertongue in response, as Iron Treads is still fast asleep on the field. Tinkertongue, though, looking to do its bit, going for the Confide. It's going to Confide in Pyro, lowering its special attack here. Pyro is going to respond with the Yawn, though, so clearly whatever it Confided must have bored it, because it is yawned, and Tinkertongue is going to grow drowsy, as Weird with the Acid Armor gets the defense boost here. Tinkertongue is going to go with the Last Respects, but unfortunately it will not affect Weird, and Iron Treads is still fast asleep on the field here. And Pyro is going to bounce up high into the sky. It springs up there. It will be able to avoid attacks for this turn, as an Energy Ball from Weird, going for Tinkertongue. Yet another not very effective move on the Fairy Steel type, but it does lower its special defense, and Tinkertongue has fallen asleep after that Yawn. So both Steel type Pokemon are asleep, but Iron Treads has woken up, and it is going to go with the takedown, but Pyro is able to avoid that attack, and Tinkertongue fast asleep on the field. So these Steel types feeling the effects of the status conditions, and Pyro with the bounce, not very effective on Tinkertongue, but Tinkertongue is being closer and closer to elimination, as the mean look from Weird is going to make it so Tinkertongue can no longer escape, but Pokemon do not try to run away in the PokeType League. And the Wing Attack, Weird survives the Wing Attack from Iron Treads. Tinkertongue still fast asleep, and Pyro with the Morning Sun looking to restore some of its health here, and it should get a really good boost as well. And the Confuse Ray from Weird is going to leave Tinkertongue in a confused state here. It will need to shake it off if it does wake up and it's still in that confused state, but for the time being it is still asleep on the field, leaving Iron Treads to go for the Tearful Look onto Pyro. I'm not sure Pyro cares too much, but it still lowers its attack stat and its special attack, lowering those offenses of Pyro, who goes with the Parabolic Charge, which will not affect the Park Ground type Iron Treads, but it will eliminate Tinkertongue with that critical hit. But unfortunately, Pyro has also eliminated Weird from this matchup. It does take out 2 Pokemon, but not the 2 opposing Pokemon, only one of them taking out its teammate. That's not great for the normal types, but it is still very early stages of this matchup. Still 5 Pokemon remaining for both sides, as Corviknight comes out for the Olivine Carbons, and Tauros comes out for the Goldenrod Aces with that Intimidate ability. It's going to lower the attack stat of Iron Treads, but not Corviknight, who has that Mirror Knight ability, so sends it back at Tauros, having its attack stat lowered. It goes for the Air Slash, not very effective on Iron Treads, who responds with the X Scissor. Doesn't do a great deal of damage to Tauros, though, as Pyro with the Terrain Pulse going for Corviknight. Very minimal damage on the Steel Flying type, who goes with the Leer. It is going to lower the defenses of Tauros here, as well as Pyro. Pyro's stats keep being lowered throughout this matchup, and the Rock Tomb onto Iron Tread's not very effective. It is taking so many hits in this matchup. It does have its speed stat lowered, however, as Pyro with the Reflect, it is going to make its side stronger against physical moves. And a Meteor Beam now being set up by Corviknight. It's going to start overflowing with that space power, but it has boosted its special attack. See if it can connect with it in the next turn, as the Bug Bite onto Pyro does very minimal damage. Does that not very effective hit, but Iron Tread stole the Leopard Berry of Pyro in the process, proceeding to eat it and restore its own PP in the process. Tauros with the Acrobatics, yet another minimal hit onto Corviknight there. Pyro though with the Fury Cutter also doing very little damage to Corviknight, and this is going to allow it to go for the Meteor Beam onto Pyro. And Pyro is eliminated with that super effective move, taking out the Fire normal type. And the Freeze Dry follow-up from Iron Treads onto Tauros doesn't do a great deal of damage, as Ursaluna comes out for the Goldenrod Aces, and Tauros with the Fairy Lock, locking everyone into the battle for the next turn, making it so none of them can run away yet again. No one's running away in the PokeType League, and I hope you're not either, as the Flying Press is super effective from Corviknight and eliminates Tauros. The Iron types, the Steel types, sorry, are building momentum, as the Icy Wind will be super effective on Ursaluna from Iron Treads due to that Park Ground typing, and lowers Ursaluna's speed in the process. Ursaluna responds though with the knockoff, gets a good hit there on the Corviknight, knocking off its Leopard Berry in the process, and out comes Miss Magius for the Goldenrod Aces. Now Miss Magius has that Levitate ability, and it has shed its Ghost typing. It's going to gain the normal typing, which now makes it immune to Ghost type attacks, which the Olivine Carbons will need to keep in mind if they're going for Miss Magius, who is going to go for a Drill Run here onto Iron Treads. Super effective hit onto Iron Treads there, as Corviknight responds for it. So with the Happy Hour, it must be feeling confident. There are 3 Pokemon remaining for the Goldenrod Aces, still 5 remaining for the Olivine Carbons, and we get the Hyper Voice, which will connect with both Miss Magius and Ursaluna. Magical Leaf though eliminates Iron Treads. Does Ursaluna a fantastic hit there, and out in its place comes Goodra, the pseudo-legendary Miss Magius, with the stockpile. It is going to stockpile 1 and boost its defense here. Now Goodra is in its Hisuian form, so it is a Steel Dragon type, as Corviknight with the Simple Beam onto Ursaluna is going to change its ability from Bulletproof to Simple, meaning its stats can go higher and lower than they regularly can. As Goodra with the Surf, it's going to ride that Surf. Super effective hit on Ursaluna. Unfortunately, gets a critical hit on its own teammate in Corviknight. And the Flying Press onto Goodra from Ursaluna. A fantastic hit, but with that gooey ability, it does have its speed stat lowered. And the Reflect is finally worn off for the Goldenrod Aces. The Venoshock will not affect the Steel type Pokemon. They are immune to Poison type attacks. Corviknight though, with the Tail Slap, reminding Miss Magius of that. Probably telling what is it thinking to try and go for that Poison type move. Goodra following it up with the Dream Eater. No one's asleep on the field, so it will not affect Miss Magius at the time. And Ursaluna with the Mud Shot onto Goodra. Super effective hit. Good hit there as well, as it lowers Goodra's speed stat, and Miss Magius is going to go with the Worry Seed. They're going to get rid of that gooey ability on Goodra and change it to Insomnia, so it will not be lowering anyone's speed, and it will not be going to sleep either, as it does have that Insomnia ability. But Corviknight is going to vanish instantly from the field, because it is setting up the Phantom Force, which will not affect the normal type Pokemon, and a Luna Dance from Goodra. Goodra's going to take itself out of this matchup, which has leveled the playing field at 3v3, and the Judgment from Ursaluna will not connect with Corviknight, who has vanished. But we have Lucario now coming out for the Olivine Carbons, and Miss Magius with the Parting Shot, but Corviknight is still vanished from the field, and Lucario though with the Dragon Pulse onto Miss Magius gets a good hit there, and Corviknight going for the Phantom Force, but it will not affect Miss Magius because it's now a normal type. Normally would have been super effective, as the Lava Plume, super effective hit from Ursaluna, eliminates Corviknight, and the normal types are in the lead, but unfortunately it has left Miss Magius with that burn status condition, as Lucario also taking damage from that move, and Miss Magius feeling the effects of that burn, as the last Pokemon for the Olivine Carbons is Earthworm. Miss Maggie is still with the speed advantage, going for the hold back here. And it is going to focus in on Earthworm, who you can barely see on camera. What is our cameraman doing? Lucario with the Thunder Fang will not affect Ursaluna. It remember, has that ground typing. But the Circle Throw will eliminate Miss Magius from Earthworm with that super effective move as well. It is now a 2v2 battle. It is anybody's game. And Ursaluna going with that focus energy. It is getting pumped here. It knows what's at stake as Oranguru comes out as the last Pokemon for the Golden Road Aces, and Lucario with the Focus Blast. But Oranguru is able to avoid that attack. And now the Poison Gas from Earthworm is going to leave both Ursaluna and Oranguru poisoned, which is fantastic because it means they are on a ticking clock before they will be eliminated. And Ursaluna looks like it'll be eliminated at the end of this turn, but first Oranguru is going to go for the triple arrows onto Earthworm. Super effective hit there as well, and Ursaluna is going to go for its last move, and it goes for the Poison Tail, which doesn't affect Lucario. What is it thinking? And there's Oranguru taking damage from that poisoning, as does Ursaluna, but unfortunately Ursaluna is eliminated from this matchup, and Oranguru is all by itself with the two steel types to contend with. And we get our first time winning as Lucario with the Swagger is going to leave Oranguru confused after a boost that attacks that a great deal. It needs to shake off that confusion, but first Earthworm is going to go with the String Shot to lower that speed of Oranguru, who's already the slowest Pokemon on the field, so Earthworm didn't really need to be doing that. But Oranguru needs to shake off this confusion here. And it is successful, but it goes for the Terra Blast. And this won't be very effective on Earthworm, but it gets a pretty decent hit, all things considered. Unfortunately, Oranguru is still feeling the effects of that poisoning, though, allowing Lucario going for the Stone Edge. Great hit there by Lucario. It's going to be followed up by Earthworm going for the payback as we get our second time warning, but it doesn't matter because that super effective hit has eliminated Oranguru from this matchup, and the Olivine Carbons have gotten their third victory of the season, handing the normal types their third loss in a row. And this will move the steel types up into 10th place as the next round they have a huge matchup, as they will try to give the Heart Home Spectres their first defeat of the season, whereas the Aces will be taking on the Lumiose Glitches next round. But until then, Nidorinos, thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments below who you thought was the best on field, and if you enjoyed what you saw, please leave a like, share, subscribe, but more importantly, always remember, you are awesome, and I'll see you when you see me.